Grade 12, this is now question number 1.1.3, and as you can see, this is an inequality. Now, this inequality is quadratic. How do we know it? Because it has factors. It's already factorized. The right-hand side is already a 0, so it's kind of ready for the next step, except that we have a negative x there that might cause a little bit of a problem if we want to use our usual pattern of finding the solution. So what we can do is we can change that sign of the negative x by multiplying only this factor, only the one factor, by negative 1. So negative 1 times 2 is negative 2, and negative 1 times negative x is positive x. The other factor we leave as is. But if we have multiplied the left-hand side by negative 1, we also have to do it with the right-hand side. So 0 times negative 1 is 0. In inequalities, if we do that, multiplying both sides by negative 1, the direction of the inequality sign changes. So it becomes less than or equal to 0. You always have to write down the critical values. Those are the values of x that will make the left-hand side equal to 0. So it's x is equal to 2 or x is equal to negative 4. Now there's a shortcut to the answer where you can just say x is a number between the smallest one and the biggest one. Or let me explain once for you again how we get to that answer. Is on a number line we indicate the values which makes the expression equal to 0. In other words, the critical values. Negative 4 and 2. At the top of the number line, we are going to show you what happens to the product, P for product. At the bottom, we show what happens to the factors as we move along the number line. So we are going to move from the left to the right across the number line and see what happens. So let's write down the two factors. The factor that will make that will have a critical value negative 4, we write that one first. So it's x plus 4 comes first, and then x minus 2. Now you choose any number in this region. Now these two critical values divide this number line into 3 regions. Region 1, region 2, and region 3. So any number from region 1 is something like negative 10. Replace the x by negative 10 in your head, get the answer, and you will just write down the sign of your answer. We're not really interested in the real answer. And substitute by negative 10 there, you get negative 12. The sign is negative. So, and a negative times a negative gives us a product which is positive. When we replace by the critical value, this factor becomes 0. And this factor will still be negative. So 0 times any number is 0. So the product is 0 at that point. If you choose any number in this region, region number 2, then, which is something like 0, 0 is a nice number to work with, substitute the x by 0, then you get a positive answer. And substitute the x by 0 in the next factor and you get a negative answer. A positive times a negative gives you, positive times negative gives you a negative answer. When you reach the other critical value and you substitute it in this factor, then you get a positive answer. If you substitute it in the second factor, you get 0. 0 times anything is 0. If you go to region number 3, and you choose a number from that region, like 10. You put 10 in the place of the first factor's x there. You get 14, which is positive. You put 10 in there, you get 8, which is positive. Positive times a positive, answer is positive. Now, at the top of the number line, you have all the information about the product as x changes value along the number line. And we are interested in all the values of x that will make this expression here negative. So we are interested in these values of x. How do we write it down? We can clearly see x is between -4 and 2. We first write the -4, in the middle is x, and at the other extreme side is 2. And then x is greater or equal to, because the problem says equal to, -4, and x is less than or equal to 2. There is the shortcut way. If you know the shortcut, you can just use it. So the shortcut is get the critical values, write the first one down, write the second one down. For negative, x is always in between, so you can immediately write down the answer if you can see that. But this is the explanation, you need to understand it.